Hey, how you doing? It's Clayton here from howtodrawcomics.net and welcome to today's video. Today, we're working on something a little different here. You know, most of my videos, I'm creating an artwork from scratch, and you're seeing it happen from beginning to end. But this is going to be a little bit different because I'm actually working over the top of somebody else's artwork today. I'm editing it. I'm trying to, I guess in simple terms, make it better. And the artist of this artwork is in fact my brother, Korey Barton. We are working on a project together, a comic book project to be exact, that we are planning to crowdfund. And you can find the pre-launch page for that comic book project via a link in the description below this video. But the project is called KOZOR, and it is a book that Korey, my brother, had illustrated and written quite a few years ago now, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and it's just been sitting there. We really haven't had a chance to promote it. We have never printed it. It's just been this project that Korey dumped a ton of time and energy into that really never saw the light of day. No one else got to experience it except for him and I. So I said to Korey one day when we were hanging out, having a coffee together, I said, hey man, KOZOR is a really good book. The story is super cool. The artwork is great. Why aren't we running a crowdfunded campaign for it? And Korey kind of paused for a second, looked at me and said, man, I'm not sure. I said, why aren't you sure? What, you're not happy with the level of quality within the artwork? Or, what is it? And whether it was a fear of failure or a fear of success, or he had what most of us artists suffer from, unfortunately, most of the time is this perfectionism where it just couldn't possibly be good enough for anybody else. He just wasn't that crazed about putting it out there in front of people. I guess we're all afraid of being judged, right? We're afraid of being scrutinized, that people are going to laugh at us if we show them our handiwork. And we do take it personally. Let's be honest. Art and the stuff that we create, it's very personal. It's coming from us. So when someone criticizes that work, it feels like they're criticizing us on a personal level. But I said to Korey, look, man, what if I go through each and every page of KOZOR Volume 1 and I completely do a rehaul of it, right? I go over the top and I remaster it, essentially. What if I re-edited the inks, made sure that all the forms within that line work were rendered correctly, that the shadows looked good, that the characters were structured properly? What if I then went in and edited the colors, made sure everything that was shaded beautifully, that the colors were harmonized, that there was a consistent mood coming across, that they were popping right off of the page? What if for this campaign we released a definitive edition of KOZOR that showed the book in the best possible light? Korey was pretty buzzed about that. He liked the idea. And I said, how about this? What if I also go ahead and I do a cover for this definitive remastered version of KOZOR? How would you like that? And he liked it a lot. So from that point onward, we, a week later, launched that pre-launch campaign page and started collecting email addresses for it. And anyone who signed up, we decided that, hey, you know what, we're going to give you some exclusive rewards, access to some exclusive rewards anyway, especially if you're back on day one. And that was enough. People started signing up, and we hadn't even up until this point promoted it tons. This is the first demonstration video you're seeing of me working on a page from KOZOR 1. And so we're really going to pump up the promotion and try to get it out there and in front of as many people as we possibly can, because Korey and I both think that this project is special. It's something that came from the mind and heart of Korey, and so it's genuine. It's raw, you know. It's not something that you're going to see coming from a mainstream publisher. And the artwork looks absolutely fantastic. For me, it pulls you in straight away. I really love this dramatic, cinematic kind of style. And I think that Korey pulls it off really well. It's just that, you know, one of the really cool things growing up with Korey is that we always got to bounce our ideas and our artwork off of one another. And I did that to him as much as he did it to me. Because having that second pair of eyes on something that you've put together just helps pull you out of that tunnel vision that many of us end up falling into and gives us that fresh perspective. And so that's pretty much what's happening here for KOZOR. I'm giving Korey that fresh perspective, and I am in fact going in over the top and making the changes that I would have suggested to him. Changes that a lot of the time reside in errors that he maybe made during the foundational phase that we're all guilty of, let's be honest. Proportions, anatomy, basic structure, that kind of thing. It can very easily be overlooked, especially when you're somebody who really loves getting stuck into the details, as Korey does. And even though KOZOR Volume 1 has pretty decent artwork already, and that we could very well launch a successful campaign for it as is, in its an original presentation, we decided that, look, if we're going to do this, we're going to put in 200%. We're going to make sure that KOZOR Volume 1 is the very best that it possibly can be. And so that's why we're going to the trouble of making all these edits, you know, from the artwork itself to the gutters that surround the frame within the interior pages. We want to make sure that this comic book is on point, that you're getting the very best version of it, the very best product. We've already got a variant cover from Jimmy Reyes for this book. Korey is doing up a variant cover for it as well. And when the campaign launches, what you're going to find when you back it is that you've got the option of jumping on board for a original version of KOZOR, which does have all of Korey's original colors and line work intact, along with the original cover. You'll be able to access the remastered version, which is the main one that we're going to offer up in our campaign, and then a black and white version, because we just thought it'd be really cool to offer that. We have never seen that done before within a comic book campaign, and given that Korey's art tends to have a lot of shadow and a lot of rendering within it, a black and white version would work very, very well. So we wanted to make that offer available to you on top of everything else. But it's going to be really exciting come launch day. We've never launched a comic book project before. We wanted to make sure that the first one would be a completed project. In other words, you wouldn't have to wait like a year to get your hands on KOZOR Volume 1, that we could get it to print and get it sent out to you a few months after the campaign completed. And so we're really positive that we can use KOZOR Volume 1 as a launching base for our future projects like KOZOR Issue 2, which is in the works by Korey. We're both very excited to show you that one, but first things first, we want to make sure that KOZOR is out there, that the people have had a chance to experience at least the first issue, and Renegade Alpha. But you know, you've got to start somewhere, and you've got to take a risk. You got to be brave. And so we're biting the bullet on this one. We're going to get this out, and it's going to be a whole lot of fun. We're excited and we're nervous. Don't get us wrong. The other really cool thing is, I guess, the story itself, beyond the artwork. KOZOR Volume 1, let's just go over what the story is actually about. So, the mighty Chief Baron and his clan of swordsmen, so Baron is the bald guy that you can see there in the panels, embark on a quest into the sacred swamplands of Nimla in search for the mysterious faceless people. But when they're attacked by a flock of flying beasts, their journey proves more fatal than they could have ever imagined. Now, KOZOR Volume 1 is going to be 43 full-color pages of intricately detailed art that tells a nightmare-filled story of foul demons, abundant bloodshed, and the insidious corruption of a warrior's psyche. In this campaign, backers get no less than a definitive edition of KOZOR Volume 1, which comes complete with refined edits, additional story pages, retouched art, and the exclusive cover by myself. So, if you like anime such as Berserk, you're probably going to love this book because Korey's one of Korey's biggest inspirations, and I love the series as well, but one of Korey's in particular biggest inspirations for this story was Berserk. I gotta say that the first time we watched that anime, Korey was absolutely inspired by it, and I believe that is when the initial concept, the initial ideas for KOZOR started to come about in Korey's mind. And he put a lot of time and thought into this book. He really did contemplate it for an extremely long period of time before he actually went ahead and created it. Whenever I talk to him about the future of the series and where he wants to take it, he's always got something new to tell me because it's the kind of project, I guess, that he's thinking about when he goes to bed at night, when he wakes up in the morning, and he's in the wonderful place right now to be able to work on it full time. He's fully invested in it. So when you back the first issue and you love the story, the chances that you're going to get more KOZOR are very, very likely. Of course, there's nothing that's for sure in life. This campaign might completely fail, and we may have to relook at why exactly that was, but we are hoping for the best. And the wonderful thing has been up until this point, even with just the pre-launch page, which again you can access via the link below in the description, is that we've got a ton of support. There's been a bunch of people jump onto the email list already. I believe we've got over 150 now, which is just absolutely mind-boggling. Whenever I tell Korey about, the latest sign-ups we've got, he gets super excited about it. And yeah, it's something that's special to us. We love creating comic books, obviously. We love drawing. We want to do it every single day. We live and breathe comic books. And so to be able to actually do it for somebody, to do it for an audience, and to give them that experience is the next natural step in what we have to offer for you guys. So, it's not just about us. We don't just want to be creating art for the sake of it. We don't want to just be creating books that sit on the shelf and never ever get released. No one ever gets to read them. We actually have decided that, hey, KOZOR and the hard work that Korey put into it, it deserves to be put out there for people to read. And we're hoping that the campaign that we're going to launch at the end of July will allow us to be able to do that. But you can see me here just wrapping up on the rebalancing of the colors. We're readjusting the contrast here, making sure that every single hue in the page that you're seeing is harmonized and complements every other color within this overall scheme. And that's done through a series of adjustment layers primarily. The main adjustment layers that I tend to use within Photoshop in order to retweak my colors and to just make sure they're all set and ready to go is the color balance adjustment layer, the curves adjustment layer, and the hue saturation adjustment layer on top of that. We are also using the color selection adjustment layers too, which allow us just that extra additional control over the hues that we're dealing with. All of these adjustment layers are accessible from the layer menu up the top of the Photoshop interface, layer adjustments, and then they're all there waiting. And it takes a little bit of time to get a handle on exactly how the various sliders are able to be used in order to manipulate the colors that you're seeing on the page. But after a while, and especially if you've got a good eye, you can take a really badly colored page and you can make it look super professional. Not to say Korey's colors were necessarily bad. I don't think that they were. In fact, his art wasn't bad at all. It's just, I guess it's an update of what it originally was, and that's how I thought about it going in. I never had the intention of changing Korey's artwork. That's not what this was about. It was about enhancing it, and I feel like I really did manage to do that, and will be able to continue doing that as I go through one page after the other and make it the best that it possibly can be. And this is just page one. My plan is to put out all of these pages as I remaster them and show you that process, explaining how I'm doing it. I know that I'm really giving you the introduction into exactly what KOZOR Volume 1 is going to be about in this video, but I hope that in the future demonstrations that I do of the remastering of KOZOR Volume 1, we will be able to get into more of the technical aspects of exactly what I'm doing with these adjustment layers and how I'm going about the process of editing that line art. And sometimes it's hard to tell exactly what these changes are. You need a really keen eye, even when you've got that final remastered version there sitting next to the original version. It's not always easy to tell exactly what has been edited or modified, but trust me in saying this, and you probably can tell if you've got an artistic eye exactly what's been changed. But the aim here is to make sure that this book has been taken and that we're giving you the best possible iteration of it that we can. And it deserves it, really, because Korey put so much time into this book. He dedicated hours and hours and hours of work to it. I believe it took him a year or more to get this done, to get it inked, to get it colored, to get it written, to get it lettered. He did everything, and I really admired him for that, because as many of you know, I'm good at comic book art, but I've never actually done a comic book before. Funnily enough, Korey's done much more comic book art than I have. But that wraps up today's demonstration. I hope that you enjoyed it, that you got a little bit of an introduction there into exactly what KOZOR is and why Korey and I are so excited about it. If you'd like more updates on exactly what we're doing at Barton Bros Studios, I highly suggest that you check out our website, bartonbrosstudios.com. Again, hit the link to the pre-launch page for KOZOR and sign up to our emailing list. You can access it in the description below this video. And expect more KOZOR demonstrations to come. I'm really excited to show you what's in store for this book. Until next time, keep on creating, keep on drawing, and I'll see you in the next video.